first step was to block out the noise. And after I did that, momentum.
What is up, everybody? This is Rob Kakish, putting the YouTube channel as promised. Okay, I know a lot of people wanted to hear some info and insight over the years of what I've been studying, so we're gonna make it happen. Warm-up video. So yeah, that's what it is. Nietzsche once said, "A man or someone who is moral has the capability for violence and the capability for aggression built in at hand, but also who is someone who is completely capable of controlling that in a civilized manner." Okay, this also can relate on how it contrasts this to women. In this case, women many times do and are attracted to men who are a little bit delinquent. Okay, and that's not much of a mystery. They need to feel that security. They need to know that that man has a sword, metaphorically saying, and can take that out whenever used or whenever needed. Everyone has a genie in them. Genie is short for genius. And being, if you can find your genie, you'll be granted your wishes. Okay, which in a sense is true, but you got to want what you're wishing for so you can make the proper sacrifices to get it. Genie is short for genius. Everybody has a genie in them. If you can find that genie, which is also hacking into your genius, those wishes can be granted. But you've got to want it enough so you can make the proper sacrifices to move forward. The book by Dr. Jordan Peterson, UFT clinical psychologist. He's probably worldwide now. You guys know him. This is verbatim, quote unquote. He goes, "Compare yourself to who you were yesterday and not to who someone else is today." Compare yourself to who you were yesterday and not who someone else is today. Okay, you can't control who you're comparing to, but what you do have control of is comparing your yesterday self, comparing yourself to your yesterday self. And the reasoning for that is little increments of small actions taken, you can literally feel yourself being better than yesterday. For instance, waking up a little earlier. For instance, drinking a little more water. For instance, when you go into work, instead of making it, a normal job where you're going in, zombied out, zoned out, you can try to have an impact on other. You can make the environment better, okay? Even though that's not necessarily financially making yourself better, you're still making yourself better. Those small increments after 6 months, a year, 2 years does add up to something. So my whole thing is I've always got up early, but for the last 3 weeks, it's going to sleep at around 11, okay, which is kind of hard, but it is what it is, and being up by 5:36. Have I hit the snooze button? Yes, I have. 3-4 every other day, but it's just catching yourself and building that new habit. New habit, new chapter, and change acquires after that. But mind you, this is only if you want that change. If you want different results, you start implementing different habits. And also, yes, you've got to give yourself the room for the latitude of error, because it's inevitable. So in an ideal, if you had everything planned out, how life should work is consistent, small gestures or small ideas that make yourself grow, but also 1 and 2 steps back. So you give yourself the latitude, improvement, failure a couple times, improvement, failure a couple times, improvement, failure a couple of times, because it's inevitable. Also, to quote something of in Revelations, this is a summary of it, not exactly, is the long-term ones who suffer the most won't be the ones who had the worst mistakes or did the best things. It's the ones that stay in the middle and never commit themselves. The ones who suffer the most won't be the ones who had the major mistakes, and it's not going to be the ones who did the best things. It's the ones who stayed stagnant and did not commit themselves. Okay? Because the person with the worst mistakes evolved, tried new things. Okay? built some type of momentum, even though there were a lot of failures and non-successes. But he moved, she moved. The person who did the best things obviously had more successes, but obviously that's an easy one. Moved, built momentum, accomplished. The one who stayed stagnant doesn't deserve it, because he or she made the commitment to stay stagnant and not try and not have risks or take risks per se. So now in your 20s is a good time to push yourself to your limit, so you know where it is, so you know where your limit is. And when you find where your limit is, being able to back up a bit so you can sustain it. Quick story of myself. I got into my finance career at 23. Very rewarding financially, professional, learned a lot, the ins and out of finances and money. But I got into the industry really young, so in a sense, there was a little bit of advantage taken from me, okay, from the higher ups and the owners and the whole nine. So a lot of work was given to me, and I was consistently from 23 to 26 doing, and you can ask all my friends, 23 to 26 doing 60 to 70 hour work weeks weekly. 60 to 70 hours a week since in my early 20s, from 23 to 26, and a lot of work. That eventually got me to the point that I don't want to say a breaking point, but damn near, it got to the point where the job wasn't as fulfilling, where a little bit of an anxiety kicked in, and it was just a lot. And I knew my breaking point from there. Okay. So now on projects that I do tend to start working on, I'm going to know how to place myself, what priorities to put first, and the data I set for myself prior, because it was in my early 20s, I'll be able to advance now, okay? And just to leave it off with this quote right here, you can I'll leave it up for interpretation. You can Google it, whatever feels right. The purpose of thinking is so our thoughts die and not us. The purpose of thinking is so our thoughts die and not us. Once again, Rob Kakish, subscribe, like the video, hate the video, it's all good. But it's the first video, so we're going to keep it going. Anything you want me else to touch on, any suggestions, constructive criticism, we're open. All right. So until next time, we'll leave it at that.